A fourth stimulus check in 2022. Have you been wondering just as much as I have if there's going to be a fourth stimulus check in 2022? Well, in this video, I have 5 very strong reasons as to why there may just be a fourth stimulus check in 2022. Let's get into it right now. But if you haven't done so, or if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video so you can join the #1 channel right here on YouTube dedicated to bringing you daily updates as it pertains to low income, no income, money, benefits, fixed income, stimulus packages, stimulus checks, and so much more that we're covering in these videos every single day. As there's a lot going on, there are things changing every single day, but don't worry, I'm doing all the research on your behalf. I distill it all down into these short videos so that you can just stop by, watch a short video, and see all of the latest updates that have happened during that day. So again, thank you so much for joining me. Make sure to subscribe right down below the video so you don't miss any videos going forward, as there is a lot going on right now, including the 3 separate stimulus packages that are currently on the table right now. So yeah, there's a lot, as you can see. All right, so let's get into this right now. And once again, thank you so much for joining me. One quick side note, my wife Corey will be back here in just a couple minutes with the new updated list of shout-outs for those names that are pulled right out of the fan club. So stay tuned for that, because if you're in the fan club, you may just be getting a shout-out in this video. All right, so let's jump right into this. So what an interesting year 2022 has been already, right? We're not even that far into the year already, and wow, it has been a very interesting year so far. However, you and me and millions of other people have also been wondering this very big question. Will there be a fourth stimulus check in 2022? The last check that we received was way back in March and April of 2021 in the amount of $1,400. We're coming up on almost a year now since that last very, very important and helpful check was actually sent out to all the people. However, a lot has changed since then, especially so far this year, and I want to run through 5 very strong reasons, again, in my opinion, as to why I believe that there are some pretty good possibilities of a fourth stimulus check here in 2022. Now again, before we get into this, full transparency. As of right now, there is not a fourth stimulus check that has been approved. It hasn't been approved yet. However, we're looking at everything very closely, just like the president, like the administration, just like people in Congress, just like many other people. We're looking at all the data that we have, and basically everything that we're seeing right now is pointing the finger very, very strongly toward additional payments. But again, I'm not the guy in control. If I was, we wouldn't need to have this conversation. I would certainly be taking care of everybody here because I get it. I see the struggle in the comment section. It is not a good situation. Either way, if I was in control, it'd be a totally different story. We would not have to have these conversations. Anyway, let's get into this and run through my 5 reasons one by one. I'll elaborate a little bit, but I'll also try to make it relatively quick here because I want to be respectful of your time just like I do every single day. All right, so reason number 1, let's just talk about the obvious. COVID. I mean, seriously, have you been looking at the numbers lately? I just came across a new number, 1.4 million new infections in one day alone. Wow. I don't know if we should be proud or embarrassed. I mean, let's just be real. These are like world records. No other country in the history of the world has ever seen cases this high before. 1.4 million cases in one single day, in accordance with the latest report that I just saw. This is multiple days that we've seen over 1 million now. So, I mean, obviously, we all are watching this. We all know the whole situation. So, like I said, I wanted to point out the obvious. But here's the situation. It's not so much about the COVID cases. Okay, that's one case. But here's the other situation. So many people are out of work right now. A lot of industries are canceling, closing businesses, canceling things. There's a lot of things going on right now because there's so many infections. If somebody's infected, they can't come into work. Therefore, if 50% of the workforce is out, they may just need to close the doors for a short amount of time. And if that happens too long, then businesses go out of business and go bankrupt, right? So you can kind of see the trend here. Here's the thing. We've been seeing this in the economic activity and the economic impact of so many people being out of work and business closures and restrictions and cancellations, things like this, is going to impact the economy. Now, this is reason number 1 that I'm giving you. Like I said, I wanted to point out the obvious first, but the point is, we've got to watch the economic impact on all of this very closely, because if it continues at the rate that it is, it's not going to be a good situation for the economy, right? all the people, right? The administration, the people in Congress, they all want to see a very strong economy. Well, if the economy is not very strong because of everything going on right now, how do you stimulate the economy? Yeah, that's right. Stimulus checks, right? Yeah, exactly. So that's reason number one. And again, we could go into much more detail on that, but again, I wanted to make it relatively brief through all of these and kind of elaborate just a little bit as necessary. All right. Number two, let's quickly talk about inflation. The latest inflation numbers were just released a few days ago, coming in at 7% year over year. This is massive. Now, depending on who you listen to, where you read, or what kind of research you're doing on this, on one side of the spectrum, you'll see some people saying it's the stimulus checks. That is what has led to all of this inflation. Meanwhile, on the other hand, on the other side of the spectrum, you have other people saying, no, it has nothing to do with the stimulus checks. That was only $844 billion worth of the stimulus out of the roughly $6 to $7 trillion of stimulus that we've pumped into the economy over the last 2 years. So as you can see, stimulus checks have been less than, 1/6, 1/7 of the total number? It's a very small percentage of the total money that's been pumped out in the last 2 years here. So some people are saying, yes, it's all the inflation because of checks, and some people are saying, no, actually it's not. It's because of the total amount of money that's been sent out. But the point is, here's what's happening. This inflation is literally eating alive the purchasing power of all of our dollars, right? We go out to the store with a set number of dollars that we can spend on food, goods, services, things like this. And we're starting to find, well, we've been finding this for the last year now or more, that every time we go to the store, hey, I feel like I'm getting one less bag than I was last week. Or maybe not that extreme, but hey, I was getting 4 bags a year ago. Now I'm getting 2.5 bags. What's the problem here? I'm buying the same products, in less quantities, but yet I can't get quite as much. Yeah, because the dollars are not going as far because everything is so inflated in price right now. It's eroding the purchasing power of our dollars. Therefore, even though inflation continues to go high, it is very high and will continue to go very much higher as we continue on throughout this year, if we get a little bit more money into the hands of people, it can help offset some of those increased prices. You kind of see what I'm saying? But again, that's a whole other debate that we could talk about for many, many videos if we wanted to, just because the whole inflation thing is, it's one of those things that everybody has their own opinion on. But either way, more cash in hand would ultimately help people with a little bit more purchasing power when they go to the stores to buy those inflated goods, services, and foods, right? Yeah, so that's another thing that we have to talk about very closely. All right, next, let's talk about the retail sales number. Now, this number was also just released a couple days ago. It came in at down 1.9%. So month over month, it came in down 1.9% over the previous month during historically one of the busiest shopping months of the year, December. That was the last retail sales number that came in. It was down 1.9% over November. Therefore, it's showing the consumers, us, the people with the money, going out into the stores, buying goods, services, products, things like this. We are spending less money simply because of a variety of reasons. Number one, inflation is, it's causing us to maybe hold back on buying things right now because we're looking at the situation saying, I don't know where prices are going to go in the next month and a half, 2 months, 6 months from now. I may just pull back and save an extra 20 this month. I may just pull back and save an extra 50 this month because I don't know where prices are going to be in a little while from now. I'm going to hold back on my savings, or I'm going to hold back on my spending just a little bit for right now, stick a little bit aside just so that I can, be prepared for what's to come here in the short amount of time. So that's not another good indicator because retail sales is also a driver of the economy, right? If we're out spending money, the economy's doing great. If we're pulling back on our spending, that's going to be reflected in retail sales. Therefore, if we're not spending as much money, that means less economic activity, right? The economy is not moving as fast. It's not as healthy as it was if we were all out spending every last dollar and penny that we have, right? So you kind of see what I'm saying here? If retail sales are going down, that's not necessarily a good thing. They want retail sales to go up so that we buy more, we spend more, we pay more in taxes, right? And that's really what it all comes down to. Let's just be real with ourselves. So, all right, let's quickly talk about the next topic here, which is the president approval rating, and we also have to talk about the midterm elections. Now, of course, if you've been watching my videos for any length of time now, I do not take sides in my videos. I literally come into the videos, I give you the information that I find. Sometimes it leans one side or the other simply because that's just the information that I have. But we have to talk about something that was just released, I believe it was yesterday. the president's new approval rating. Okay, now this was released by the Quinnipiac poll, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Anyway, it came in at 33%. Again, I'm not here to take sides. I'm not here to say anything bad about anybody, but you got to be honest with yourself. That's really bad. Let's just be real here. A 33% approval rating is very bad. That means that only 1 in every 3 people walking around out there are actually approving of what the president is doing right now. 2 out of every 3 people are saying, no, I'm going to go ahead and take a pass on this. I'm not actually feeling it right now, right? So this is something that we got to watch very, very closely because, you know, again, it's just the approval rating, but at the same time, he needs to get that approval rating up if they want to hold their positions for the midterm elections that are coming up here in just a few months, right? Later this year, it's coming up fast already. The midterm elections are coming. Democrats are in full control right now of the House, the presidency, and of course, the Senate. They have full control of everything right now. They want to maintain that control. However, if they go into the midterm elections, and here the election cycle starting here very, very soon, if they go into this and they are, trying to claw back and trying to regain popularity and regain support, they're already coming in short stacked, right? They're coming in not in a very good position. Again, I'm not here to take sides. I'm simply telling you, this is the reality of it. They even know it. They've been saying for a few weeks now, hey guys, we've got to get a win here. As Democrats, we need to show the people that we can do something for them and that we can actually win and we can be on their side and help the people out. Have they been doing that? Well, again, it's everybody's own opinion right now, but honestly, even Democrats have been coming out saying, we've really got to do something, and we've got to do something fast, which is why they wanted to break up the Build Back Better agenda and pass it through in these little standalone bills through executive order and possibly reconciliation, just to get things done to show the American people that, hey, we're actually doing something for you. But again, that hasn't even been done yet. So that's something else we got to watch very closely. The midterm elections is going to be very, very important. And what can Democrats do to get our attention before them? I've said this many times before in other videos, but one way that you can always get people's attention, hand them a little money, right? Especially during a very difficult time, hand out some money, give some money to the people who are struggling, and you can certainly get some attention, right? So anyway, I wanted to point that out. All right, let me talk about one more point here, and this is a recent report that just came out talking about how Americans are actually really struggling right now, and the financial situations of these Americans is actually dwindling pretty significantly. Now again, in this video, we're talking about 5 different very strong reasons as to why a 4th stimulus check is pretty likely in 2022. However, I could probably come back in 5 more videos and give you 25 more reasons as to why there's a pretty good likelihood for stimulus checks in 2022. Again, this list is very long. However, I broke it down into 5 in this video, so this is certainly not the last reason why. But of course, I didn't want to sit here for an hour, and you don't want to sit here and listen to this for an hour of all these different reasons. So I just wanted to give you 5 that I thought I could break down in probably about 10, 12 minutes or so, however long it takes me. All right, let's get into this last one. So a recent report came out showing the financial situations of Americans right now. All right, so check out these numbers. In this recent report, it shows that 64% of millennials say that their financial situation has decreased or dwindled over the last 2 years. At the same time, that was just millennials, by the way. Now check this out. Over the last 2 years as well, in this recent report, it's finding that 53% of Americans across the board in all age ranges have said that their financial situation has worsened in the last 2 years. So over 53% of Americans said that their financial situation has worsened in the last 2 years. At the same time, 38% of people said that any money that they had in savings is dwindling down and they are right down to the bottom of any savings that they once had because they've been drawing on it to help cover all of these inflated prices, all of these higher prices for literally everything. Gas, rent, food, insurance, literally everything that we pay for these days, it has all gone up. Clothing has gone up, everything. If you buy it, it's gone up in price, right? So pretty much everybody, with the exception of just a small percentage of people, are pretty much drawing all of their savings down, if they had any, down to almost nothing during this time. So again, what can you do to help out the people that are struggling? Well, we've also seen this in other reports, and this is just a little bonus for you. I had no plans of talking about this, but in previous reports as well, we've also seen many other reports coming out right now showing time and time again that more and more people are starting to float balances on their credit cards and opening new lines of credit because, yeah, exactly, they don't have the money. Therefore, they're trying to open up these new lines of credit, as in credit cards, to float these balances on until we can get some kind of reprieve or some kind of additional money coming out right now. So, these are the reasons that I laid out for you in this video. Again, I could always come back and make, like I said, probably 5 more videos pointing out 25 more reasons as to why there's a strong likelihood of stimulus checks here in 2022. But again, we don't know anything because at the end of the day, I'm not the guy in power. If I was, it'd be a totally different situation. Again, we are just having to watch everybody in Congress. That's all we can really do at this point. We can watch the administration, we can watch Congress, we can watch everybody like this, but until they actually announce something, until they actually introduce something, we kind of just have to wait for them and do their thing. So all the millions of people out there that are struggling, it all comes down to about 500 people throughout Congress, right? Can you imagine that? 500 people, it's a little more than that, but let's just call it 500. 500 people in Congress are the ones who get to dictate, how much we're struggling. Does that make any sense? I guess it does, because this is what we've been doing around here for a while now, but I don't know, just saying. Anyway, so this is the list that I have for you. Of course, I'm watching everything very closely. As I get more information, I'll be right here by your side every single day with those updates. So with that being said, I'm going to bring my wife in, Corey, here in just a second, so she can read that new list of shoutouts in this video. And please remember, this list is changing every single video. Those names are pulled right out of the fan club. And if you're interested in checking out the fan club, there's a link down in the description. Otherwise, at the top of the comments section, you can check it out there as well. It is completely optional. It is not required by any means at all. It's just for those people who maybe want a little bit more right here on the channel. So check out those links down below. Otherwise, with that being said, subscribe down below so you don't miss any videos going forward, as well as check out any of the other 2,000 videos right here on the channel. And Corey, you're in to take it all away, and congratulations to the shoutouts in this video, and stay tuned as that list is changing every single video. All right, Corey, it's all you.
We would love to shout out Sandy Whitley, Robin Broman, Brian Pappin, Denise M., Southern Bailey Bell, and Karen Nelson. Thank you for being in the fan club.